Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They've been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We've been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They've been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We've been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. Benito, cheap, keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They've been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We've been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, you can't make this up, guys. We are literally right where we left you on Friday, guys. What is coming next on Bitcoin? We're going to break it down on tonight's live stream as we have come up, deviated above our macro value area high. We have now broken back into the range. Are we going to get a pullback? I want to take a look at Market Cypher B with you guys. And if you remember to Friday's live stream, we were looking at a very specific signal, potentially pointing towards a bigger pullback, or not a bigger pullback, but some kind of a correction to come in here. I don't want to get anybody spooked here with the big pullbacks or anything like that, because I am obviously bullish on Bitcoin as we've been looking at the higher time frames as I try to fix my hat here. Excuse me. Is my voice? I feel like my voice sounds weird, guys. I think I might be getting sick. I kind of feel like garbage right now. I actually might run short tonight, guys. But last week on Friday on the live stream, we were looking at some specific signals on Market Cypher B, potentially indicating a pullback. And those signals never printed, but they are finally printing on the chart here, guys. So are we going to get a pullback from this value area high for a potential correction into some very, very key levels, guys? There's a lot of levels that we're looking at to the downside. Now, before I start the stream, I will say overall, I'm feeling pretty good about the market here, guys. Even if we get a pullback down towards $102,000 to $101,000, there is still opportunity to put it in a higher low before pushing into potential all-time highs, guys. And even if we lose that level, you guys know that it's about $101,000. $101.5 is about the doorway, or that line in the sand where I will be looking for a much bigger correction to come in. But as of right now, guys, the sweep of $100,000 that we saw last week, or last Sunday, I should say, does look like a pretty good low to me, so I am looking for potential higher lows and higher highs to come, and we're going to break everything down for you guys. We've been looking at things like the SPY, the NQ, Coinbase stock, all these things breaking into new all-time highs, guys. Is Bitcoin just lagging behind a little bit? But you know, if Bitcoin is going to lag behind, it does like to catch up very quickly. So I want to cover the higher time frames, guys, give you an overall kind of weekly update on what I'm expecting here in the long term, and then we'll jump on into the local time frames, and we'll talk about those next key levels of support where we could put in some higher lows before breaking into new highs, potentially maybe up toward 115K, guys. I'm not saying it has to happen this week, but we're going to break down all the charts for you guys, show you the key levels, and hopefully we can get Bitcoin to break up or down out of this range, guys. I am sick of this range. We got that nice move on Monday up to the value area high at $108,000. And we've basically been chopping sideways ever since. We didn't really get any too much action over the weekend. So we're going to break down everything for you guys on the live stream. Shout out to Benjamin Calls in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. We got Eugene Sky in the chat. Said BTC dominance pulling back slowly but surely. We will take a look at Bitcoin dominance as well, guys. As you know, we have broken above a key level of resistance, but we are also below another bigger level of resistance. Are we going to finally see dominance break down here? I got some interesting stuff to show you guys here on the charts. We got Gen Z in the chat. Long time no see. He was just in the premium live stream, I want to say a few minutes ago, but about an hour ago. Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. We got Ligma Wick in the chat. Said, you heard it. You heard it, Mafia. Full port, 100x short. Let's go. Shout out to Ligma Wick. Well, we'll take a look. We'll take a look. Dumping. Shout out to the King of Bitcoin. We'll take a look. We are getting a little bit of a pullback here. But yeah. Let's see. We got the King of Bitcoin in the chat. What is going on? Said buy back around 35K. Oh, shout out to the King of Bitcoin. We're going down to 35. Yikes. Going into the bear market, I see. Shout out to the King of Bitcoin. I'll talk about the bigger pullbacks. We got Perry in the chat. Hollywood25, welcome in, bro. We got Smoking Wrench and Chemistry, bro. Guys, don't forget to show the mod some love in the chat. We got Kem, bro. We got Darren Does Things, Tyler Durden, Rob the Crypto Snob. You guys know who they are. Show them some love in the chat. They help us out endlessly with this YouTube channel. If you love them as much as we do, show them some love in the chat. But I don't want to waste too much time here, guys, because we do have a lot to talk about today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. One sec, guys. I knew it was too quiet in here. I knew it was too quiet. Mrs. Candles out here trying to turn the camera fan off, and she's trying to cut me off the camera. Hang on one sec. Let me fix that. I knew it was too quiet. I knew it was too quiet. All right. So let's go ahead and jump on in here, guys. As you guys know, last week, I always say yesterday when I refer to last week. You guys know, obviously on Sunday, we got that drop into the $100,000 support level where we had our macro anchored VWAP from the $75,000 low down here. Major level to tap, major level to hold. And as we did get above that level, we put the higher low in here, tapping that anchored VWAP once again, testing it as support. And then once we broke above that value area low, guys, this is where we were looking for that push up into the POC and then eventually up into that value area high. And you can see we have gotten that now. And we have played around with this value area high for quite some time. Now, when we look at this, right, on Friday, right, we on the first attempt of this value area high, I was not really interested in a big rejection as we did not have any real bearish confirmations. And then, a little while later, we did come up and put in a 1 hour bearish divergence with money flow starting to cruise to the downside here. And the reason I bring this up was because this is what we were looking at last week for a potential bigger pullback to come in. And sure, we did get a little drop to the downside. We got a little continuation of that downtrend, but nothing really to write home about, just a little bit of a pullback. Over the weekend, we kind of just came back up. We swept above the high one more time, and now we are just back inside this range once again, continuing our sideways price action here, which has been brutal all of last week. But on Friday night's live stream, one thing that we were looking at was the 12 and 16-hour red dot looking to print, and you guys can see that was coming in. Our VWAP was cruising towards that zero line, but we just held above that zero line pretty much all weekend, and then we finally did cross over that zero line here last night, printing this red dot on the 16-hour, and specifically what we were looking at here was the 12 and 16-hour red dots with the 1 hour money flow cruising to the downside here, and you guys can see, like, we didn't get the crossover, but we are now starting to get that crossover, so that kind of setup, Market Cipher B 1/16 bearish setup was what we were going to be looking for a potential continuation down, and we are finally potentially going to see that happen. Now, oh my God, Frankie, are we going to zero? Is this super bearish? In my opinion, guys, I feel pretty good still, right? Even if this does wind up giving us a bigger pullback. Last week, obviously, we were looking at our next key levels of support. Now, our point of control has moved up here, guys. This was closer to about $104,000, but as we remain within this area of balance, I have continued to pull that profile all the way to the current price action, where our POC now sits at about $105,471 in beautiful confluence with this daily naked point of control. And this is going to be a key level that we're going to be looking at in just a minute. But as we take a look at this, right, at the end of the day, we have come up, we put in another 1 hour bearish divergence as we deviated above that profile, right? Bearish divergence, we're now back inside that volume profile. Does this guarantee that we're going to get the move down towards the POC? Not necessarily, but if we can get that 1 hour money flow to continue into the red here with that 16 and 12 hour red dot printing, it may be in store for a little bit of a bigger pullback here into that, first off, $105,471 level. Daily MPOC comes in at about $104,187. So this is going to be a big key level to watch, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull this as a support level. This is the next big level to the downside, in my personal opinion, guys. If, if we do, let me pull the anchored VWAP from the low here. You can see we also have that anchored VWAP from the local, bottom of the local downtrend here. That is also coming in confluence here. Anchored VWAP sitting at about 105.6. So this is really going to be that next obvious level of support if we do come down here. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we get, well, I'm pulling Mad Anchor VWAPs here. I would not be surprised if we do get that continuation down. I will be looking down towards that point of control of the range. I mean, not only is it really our only other key level down here, but it's also like, hey, deviate above the value area high. That point of control is going to be the next target to the downside. And you can see that 1 hour money flow is now starting to cross over into the red. So literally getting that signal right now, guys. And again, this does not make me super bearish or anything like that. And why is that? Well, I'm going to take a look at not only the higher time frames, guys, but we're going to take a look at the SPY again. We're going to take a look at the NQ. We're going to take a look at Coinbase. But if we take a look at the 12 and 16 hours, right, 16-hour money flow is in the green here. Sure, that red dot with the 1 hour money flow could give us a little bit of a pullback. But overall, if we could keep this money flow in the green, the overall anticipation at this point could be higher lows and higher highs to come. Now, obviously, if we do get a bounce off that point of control, we are going to have to, be careful on the way back to the upside because you can't, forget that there is a possibility, right? Once you reject that value area high, that sure, you can go to the POC. Can you bounce there? Sure. You're going to have to be very careful around that value area high resistance level. But, if you do get a bounce here, and we wind up breaking out of that range, we might be able to work our way up towards that very, very key level of resistance that we were looking at all of last week, which is pretty much, right, this trend line of this overall downtrend. Depending on exactly where you pull this from, if you pull it to the bodies of the candles, we did actually test this over the weekend perfectly. This is still a very, 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 very important level to get above, guys. If you are not, fully accustomed to the volume profiles and the Fibonacci levels and all that, you could just simply look at this as a downtrend, right? If we're able to get out of that trend line, break it, maybe flip it to support, stay above it, that could indicate that we are going to get a bigger breakout. And when I pull up Coinbase over the Bitcoin chart, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about because Coinbase has already gone through this kind of like bull flag scenario and a breakout retest of the trend line for a new high to come in, right? So the question is Bitcoin going to follow suit? I think it could potentially be. It doesn't guarantee it, but it could, be a nice thing to look at in order to, a good line in the sand to watch for potential new all-time highs. Now, obviously, we do have some resistance above here. We have the daily MPOC sitting at 109,500, and then we also have another daily MPOC here at about 110, almost 111K. But, if we were to catch any short positions up here, right? Like anytime we're coming to the upside, guys, I am never looking for longs on a big green candle. The only thing that we can look for is short positions. This does not mean that I think it's going to go to zero if I short up here, but any short positions up here are going to have to be looked at as scalps until proven otherwise, right? Because once you get up here, sure, could you get a cool off? Maybe. But, at that point, you have to understand that you are breaking above that trend line. And more importantly, right, you are also breaking above your 786 Fibonacci retracement when pulled from the all-time high all the way to the low. This does sit at about 109.1. And these are the two kind of next zones of resistance that we have, right? We looked at this last week. Daily MPOC, 786 sitting right here. And then just above that, you do have the obvious daily MPOC. But, if we're going to get a bigger rejection, I would expect it to come in here. If we come up first and we get a rejection from here, we have to be careful, right? Because not only are you looking to hold above that trend line, but also you're breaking above your 786. And once you're above that 786, if you hold support, right, that invalidates the idea of continuous lower highs, right? That if you're going to be looking for those lower highs and lower lows to come, meaning breaking structure to the downside towards about 97K, you are going to be expecting for that rejection to come in between the golden pocket and the 786, which we are bing-bonging around in that zone right now. If we get above that, it's like, well, hey, if you hold support, it invalidates the idea of the lower highs and lower lows and could indicate that you're going to get a bigger break to the upside. So you have to be really careful around this resistance above us, even if you are looking for, it doesn't mean you can't capitalize on those little scalps to the downside. You can make plenty of money on those little moves, but context is going to be king here. And with the 16-hour money flow crossing into the green, as of right now, things look pretty good, right? So key levels to the upside, 109 to 109.5. Break above that, you have the $110,000 or almost 11,000 daily MPOC. And again, I would say this is probably the better level to reject if you want a big move down, and that's obviously assuming that we get back up there. But if you come up here, guys, it is going to be a little bit, sketchy shorting that move to the upside because if you hold these levels as support, right, you could get that big breakout. So just keep that in mind. But locally here, I would say I'm going to get these off the chart here. It's pretty simple, right? It's very, very similar to the situation that we had down here, right? We have this macro trend line to the downside. Whoops. Bada boom, right? And we just kept holding us down. We knew once we broke above that level, it would be a big, big level to watch. Not that I trade the trend lines alone. As you guys know, I'm not a trend line trader. I'm not a pattern trader. But, it is just nice to see a long-term trend line break like that. That is, somewhat of a sign of strength. So It's very, very similar situation up here that I will be looking at, right? And it's not just the trend line. It's also the 786 Fibonacci retracement. So there you go, right? That's what I'm going to be looking at. If you want new all-time highs, you got to get above the trend line, and more importantly, got to get above that 786 daily MPOC zone at about 109,500. Now, if we do come down first, obviously 105K, anchored VWAP, daily MPOC, point of control of the range, is going to be level number 1. But you can't forget, right, when you deviate above these volume profiles, sometimes you can get accepted back in. POC is the next likely place for price to go. Once you lose that point of control, we're going to be looking down towards the biggest and most important level on the chart, guys, which still does remain. It has moved very slightly as we put in a new high over the weekend, but when we look at this, this is for sure, 100%, in my opinion, the biggest key level on the chart, because obviously the value area high is going to be support. This is typically where we look for longs. If you deviate below that value area low and come into that 786 Fibonacci retracement at about 101,500, this is really the level that you want to hold, right? Once you start breaking down below that 786, it does open up the opportunity, especially if we get that rejection from where we are now. It does open up that opportunity to put in a lower low. Now, this is not my base case. This is not what I'm expecting. I do think there is a good chance of putting in higher lows and higher highs based off of what I'm going to show you guys in a second. But there is a, that's the line in the sand. And it's not even really this 786. It's technically this 786 at about 100,500. Once you lose that, it is much more likely, right, that invalidates the idea of a higher low coming in to continue your uptrend. Once you start breaking below that, you are going to anticipate to crack that structure to the downside, targeting your $97,000 point of control, where we also have a significant 786 retracement. But again, with the way money flow looks right now on the 12 and 16 hour, although I could potentially anticipate a little bit of a cool off here, I am going to be very, very, very careful and interested in looking for bounces on these levels. Again, point of control of the range, lose that. We're just going to be looking down towards that value area low zone. And I will give you guys the numerical numbers for this so you guys can get them on your chart. Value area low is sitting at $102,482. 786, the local 786 that I am watching and would prefer to bounce off of, is sitting at $101,597. That is the line in the sand at the end of the day. And then, if you break below that, I would... Again, technically, 100,500 is really the full 786 retracement, but I would really prefer to hold this blue zone, guys. And it's not until we start breaking down out of this volume profile decisively where I will be anticipating $97,000. Unless that happens, I do think the higher lows and potential higher highs to come could be the higher probability scenario. If we come down and things change, we don't get any confirmations, it looks like we're going to break down, I will be the first person to let you guys know. But that's what we're looking at as of right now. So, bro, I don't know if you guys saw that. That is not even a fly. That is literally a spider. Bear with me here, guys. Let me take this guy out real quick. Come on. Boop. I think I got him. Or he's on me. He might be on me, guys. Oh, my God. Oh, no, he's still here. He's still here. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? There he is. There he is. Hang on one second, guys. Hang on one second. You ain't going to make it out today, guys. Boom. Dead. Killed ya. Boom. YouTube, don't ban us. Don't ban us. That was a fake spider. I didn't kill anything on stream. Anyway, let's continue on here. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at, guys. Watch that 16-hour red dot, 1 hour money flow crossing into the red. Maybe we get the continuation down. I am still being very, very picky with the trades here, guys, to be quite honest. This choppy price action is super, super weird. So, yeah, I am just simply going to wait to come up to those bigger key levels of resistance or come down to our next key levels of support. And there they are right there. I wish I had more to update, but this is pretty much it. POC has moved up. This is now a key level of support. And if we bring up our liquidation heat map real quick, you guys can see here we do actually have some liquidity sitting above the highs here. Let me go ahead and pull up. Actually, let me actually pull this up on the 2-week real quick. Reload it. Take a sip of that Aztecian Cactus Orca water. Had to deal with some big ones recently. It was an ordeal in my household. Shout out to Chemistry, bro. Bugs don't bother me. For whatever reason, man, spiders are just, ugh. Spiders are gross. I actually, for anyone who knows what this is, I found a velvet ant in my backyard this weekend, guys. Horrifying animal. It's like on the top tier of the most painful stings. It's actually a wasp, but it's called a velvet ant. I did not even know that they had them around here, and it is a horrifying bug. I put it in a little cup and suffocated it. I'm kidding. I love animals, guys. I love animals. Are bugs animals? Anyway, let's continue on. New all-time highs by my birthday, Frankie. 19 more days till your birthday. Broke Bailey or Bankroll Bailey. Shout out to Base Bailey. Listen, I do think all-time highs could be coming in soon here, guys. If we take a look at the liquidation heat map, you can see, just locally, not only do we have that key level of support down below on the POC at about $105-ish thousand. You guys can see we do have liquidity sitting down there as well. So you can see right here, right, 105.5. That is where a lot of that liquidity is sitting. So are we going to come up and sweep the upper liquidity first or the lower liquidity first? As of right now, Market Cipher B would say taking the lower liquidity would be more likely. Doesn't make it impossible to pump, but especially when you have like just liquidity on the top and the bottom of you, like kind of equidistant from both of these liquidity pools. But hey, if we come on down into that liquidity, we could potentially look for some sweeps into that key level of support. And then the question is going to be, are we going to be able to get the sweep of liquidity for a bounce? Very similar to what we typically see, right? You come up, sweep that liquidity, you get a little trend to the downside, or are those liquidations and stop losses going to give us fuel to get that potential fulfill of the macro of the larger term volume profile? And again, I am definitely interested in bounces off this level, but you cannot forget, right? You get above that value area low, next place for price to likely go is the $105,000 POC, which hilariously enough, this is where the POC was originally sitting, and then it moved down, and now it is back up there, right? So we go from the value area low to the POC. Eventually, you look for the fulfill of the range to the value area high, and then same thing here. Deviate above the high, get back into the range. If we can't break out of there, POC is going to be next. If you break down below the POC, value area low is next. But just to be clear, I am interested in potential bounces off these levels. It's not every day that I like to look for bounces on a point of control, but with the way the charts look right now, with the 16-hour money flow coming up, we'll see if that 16-hour red dot could give us a little ever flow to the downside before putting in a higher low and then continuing off to higher prices. If we lose it, value area low zone is going to be next. And again, even if we come down here, guys, I still feel pretty good. And I'm going to bring up some of those more macro things in just a second. It just seems. I never trade off your gut. I will be the first advocate for that. You never want to trade based off your gut. But I just have to say, guys, things seem like they're lining up here across all different markets, right? Especially timing of when you would see the alt season potentially happen. Typically happens at the end of the cycle. We could be getting close to that level, right? And that's why I say if we do go into massive new all-time highs for Bitcoin, you do have to be careful, guys, because if we go into new all-time highs, in my opinion, this would not be the start of the bull run. You're going to start seeing a lot of people, if we break out, talk about how the bull run has finally begun, right? That is not the case, at least from what I've looked at, right? We have been in a bull market for quite some time here. I'd have to zoom out a lot, right? We've been in a bull market for quite some time. I would expect this next all-time high to be like the start of the grand finale, right? Like the last leg up, which is beautiful because although, Bitcoin might top out, this is typically where you see those altcoins hopefully get some life breathed into them. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm going to come and check in on chat just real quick, and then we will take a look at the altcoins as well. Oh, my God, I kind of feel like garbage, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'll take spiders over wasps all day. Shout out to Eddie. Yeah, I don't know. Wasps have a vendetta for me. If there is a bee or a wasp or a hornet or anything around, and I am in a group of 100 people, those 100 people are safe. The bees are going to come for me. They sting me. I don't know why. I must have pissed off the bees in my past life. But anyway, let's see here. Can we check Solana? Yes. Shout out to Amir. We will take a look at Solana. No problemo. Trade with a lot of emotions, people. Never trade with emotions. Please, for the love of God. Trade based off your technical signals. And I'm going to show you guys the actual things that make me feel pretty good. All of my feelings are based off information. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Perry. Said R.I.P. Spidey Frankie. Shout out to Perry. Let's see. We got Brandon in the chat. Welcome in, Brandon. Welcome in. Why is XRP pumping? Shout out to Kevin. Real quick, I'm not going to do full analysis here on XRP. I will at some point. But yeah, I mean, listen, if you ask me why XRP is pumping, very simply put, if you take a look here of what we were looking at last week, I'm going to have to re-pull that Fibonacci retracement. But what happened here, right? We deviated below the low, right? We literally looked at this on Friday. We get back inside the range. If you want to continue up towards that point of control, which was the next target and still is the next target, what level do you want to hold, right? Well, you're going to want to hold your golden pocket 786 retracement. He came down pretty much right to that golden pocket, put in a higher low before putting in that higher high, breaking structure to the upside, as you can see in all of its glory right there. You have your low, your high, your higher low coming in on your Fibonacci retracement, and then you get that higher high to come in. So, that was the level we wanted to hold on Friday. Well, I guess we had already bounced on that on Friday, right? What is this? Let me come on down to the 1 hour here to see when we were looking at this. 12 p.m., 2 p.m. Yeah, so we had already gotten that bounce on Friday, but this was the beautiful level you would want to hold for that higher high to come in, targeting the point of control of the range. This is also in line with your volume profile. Deviate below the low, get back in, flip the value area low to support. Next likely place for price to go could be that point of control. Once you get above that point of control, you could be looking towards that 786 retracement, because you can see here that golden pocket, which is pulled from the high to the low, golden pocket 786 retracement. So at the minimum, right, you would hope that you can get into that golden pocket, which is confluent with the POC. 2 reasons to look up there. Flip that golden pocket POC, look into the 786 at 250, and then this could just be an intermediary level in order to get up to your value area high. Could you get resistance at the 786? Yes. Could you get resistance at the POC golden pocket? Yes. But overall, the anticipation of this range would be to see this fill in full, right? It's going to be probably a messy, confusing, potentially confusing ride up there, but overall, you are going to be eventually targeting that value area high. Now, if you look at your money flow again, like we looked at on Bitcoin, 12-hour money flow crossing over into the green, this would make you think, right, on the 12-hour time frame, any pullbacks would be likely higher lows for higher highs to come. So overall, could you get resistance? Yes, but as long as that money flow can stay in the green and we don't just fake out back into the red, you could look for that continuation of the uptrend. Money flow indicates the longer-term trend every single time. Technically not every single time, right? Probably like 8 out of 10 times. So there you go, right? You could obviously get fake outs, but right now this doesn't look too bad on the 16-hour. Now you do have to be careful of the turbulence, obviously, because you do have the 16-hour and 12-hour red dots. They may look to print similar to Bitcoin, and then that daily VWAP is also pretty overextended here in my opinion, so eventually that will roll back over as well. But overall, the anticipation could be to fill that range. We got the deviation. We're holding above the value area low. As long as we hold above that value area low, we can look for that continuation up. Once things change, we get new information on the chart every minute, second, hour, day. So things can change, but as of right now, that next target would be the golden pocket starting at about 237 into that POC at about 240. Shout out to Jezza DJ and said, "Yo, Frankie, good morning from the OZ." Shout out to where'd he go? Shout out to Jezza. Welcome in, bro. We got Wick589 in the chat. What is going on, man? Welcome in. I'm sure Wick's wife, Fine89, is here somewhere as well. Let's go to 1019 first. Shout out to Kenny. That would bring us on Bitcoin. 101. Yeah, it would bring us right into that beautiful, beautiful zone. Very, very hard to call if that is going to happen. Surely we have the 12 and 16-hour red dot with the 1 hour money flow crossover. Maybe it'll play out, maybe it doesn't. But again, like probably 8 out of 10 times you will see that give you a continuation down. But for me personally, I'm either waiting for the bigger level of resistance or the bigger levels of support for my next trade. And you guys have the key levels of support now. So yeah, let me check on the poll real quick. Let's see here. All-time highs or big pullback? Pullback first, then all-time high. Yo, I love that poll. I love the results of that poll. That is lit. I love that. Not everybody's just expecting instant all-time highs. They're okay with the pullbacks. Realistic thinking there. So pullback first, then all-time highs. I like it. Pullback, then a further dump. Okay, I like this. I would have probably been in that exact same camp. 43% of you guys think pullback then first, then all-time highs. And then I would say my second best bet would be maybe just scamming into all-time highs. I would put it in this exact order. Right? Could you pull back for the 97K level? Yes, I would put that as the lower probability setup right now, or lower probability possibility. Yo, Golden, unbelievable. Yo, shout out to Golden with the 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Golden, you're an absolute monster, bro. Golden breaking records here. I don't know, I would doubt that anybody on YouTube gets gifted this many memberships to their community, especially from one person. Shout out to Golden, you absolute GOAT. 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Shout out to Golden. Start that golden waterfall, baby. Start that golden waterfall for our boy if you appreciate those free memberships. Golden, oh, man, you are a wild boy. Shout out to Golden. He's just sitting in his golden private jet, which we all know he has a solid gold private jet. It's got to be solid gold. And he's just sitting up there just dropping memberships on the Mafia. Insane. Shout out to Golden. We love you, bro. We love you. Drop those golden emojis if you just got a membership. Show Golden some love. Absolutely insane. How do you get the gift? Shout out to Web Crusader. You got to make sure your settings on YouTube enable. You have to enable gifted memberships or you can't receive them. I don't know why they wouldn't just turn those on by default, but you do have to change a setting in YouTube. Golden is the market maker. Hey, Golden, you want to maybe send this thing up to new all-time highs? That would be pretty saucy. Careful what you wish for. He might do it. Let's see. Golden. Yo, Poppy said Golden is Satoshi. Solid gold plane with emeralds. Yo, shout out to Bongs Not Wars. Hey, let's go. All right, let's continue on. Shout out to Mercury says, hey, yo, thanks for the membership. Let's get it. You now have access to those golden emojis. Start that golden waterfall, baby. Break the chat rate. Spam. We have slow mode on. We should turn it off from time to time to get golden some spams. But shout out to Golden, bro. You're an absolute legend, bro. Literally not only breaking channel records here, but you've got to be breaking some kind of YouTube record. It's insane. Let's see. Anyway, let's continue on here. Sometimes chats gets out of control. Shout out to Mark Dutch. But anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to Wick589 said, why no default membership gift gettins? It's for privacy reasons in case you didn't want other people to know you cheese on crypto in your free time. Shout out to Wick589. Yeah, it does expose the lurkers. Shout out to all the lurkers. We love the lurkers. Let's go. Golden said meeting with policymakers tonight, so maybe new all-time high. Shout out to Golden. Are you saying you're meeting with policymakers? That's insane. Shout out to Golden. Let's go. Come on, baby. Send this thing to the moon. Send this thing to the moon. Market Cypher B says maybe a little bit more of a pullback. But, hey, if something happens, TA doesn't play out 100% of the time. So hopefully we can, I would prefer at this point, guys, to see this thing pop to the upside. Doesn't mean I think it's the higher probability, but it would be something that would just be more fun, right? I think everybody's just kind of been waiting for this thing to move, and hopefully the next move is not to the downside. That would be super, super brutal for a lot of people. Golden, you're meeting with them. Shout out to Golden. Maybe Golden does control some of this stuff. He's meeting with policymakers. Golden, I'm going to say it again. Who are you? Shout out to Golden. And yo, Crypto Pollo with the Frankie Candles memberships as well. Gifted by Frankie Candles memberships, the most generous community on YouTube by far. Shout out to Golden. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. You guys are the best. Pollo, on my phone, your phone brings up those random pictures. The picture of me, you, and Tony D from Bitcoin 2022. I think maybe 2022, 2023, popped up. And I was like, oh, hey, look, it's Pollo. Shout out to you, bro. I hope you're doing well. And thank you for gifting those memberships. Chickens in the chat for Crypto Pollo. Let's get it. Let's see. Okay, so let's continue on here. That's pretty much what I'm looking at, guys. Pretty much the same sentiment as last week. We're just kind of waiting to see how this thing is going to figure itself out. You have the key levels of resistance that I'm looking at, and the next place is where we will be looking for potential bounces, and not only that, but also the line in the sand for potential bigger drop to the downside, which hopefully we don't have to deal with. And at this point, I would say is a lower probability situation until we lose that range. So I do want to take a look at some of the altcoins with you guys as well. So we'll take a look at Ethereum, Solana, XRP. If you want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I don't know if Rob the Crypto Snob is here. I did not see him pop up just yet. But Kembro, if you could do the alt list, if Rob is not here, let's do like 3 requests, and then I'll run through all the big boys, and then maybe we'll freestyle some. Look at the chickens in the chat. Let's go. Yo, shout out to Wick589. Thank you for the super chat. Said, look, I helps. Shout out to Wick589. Let's go, baby. Thank you for the super chat. Wicks in the chat. I don't know if we have a Wick emoji, but throw a candle emoji in there for Wick589, OG of the CandleMafia. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you so much. Let's go. And hey, you never know when Wick is going to gift you and give you the pleasure of one of his beautiful poems. He's a famous poet. I say this every time we talk about him. You guys might not know it. He gets a little embarrassed, a little shy, but he is a famous poet. Shout out to Wick589. Let's go. All right, let's continue on here. I do want to take a look at Ethereum, guys. Obviously, I'll pull up the alt chart here. Bada boom, bada bing. So Ethereum still kind of ping-ponging around here. Locally, I will say we are back above our value area low here at about 24.20. If we hold above this value area low, locally, this is the biggest key level of support. If you could stay above here, the doorway is open to come into your golden pocket POC, which is sitting between about 26.20 and 25.87, right? Get above that. We'll look for the value area high 786 to come in, which does sit at around 26.84 all the way up to about 27.18. If you can get the break above that 786, push into the biggest oh, interesting. This danger zone. This was, shout out to the danger zone. This was a level we were looking at on the way down. Broke it. Get that big drop down. When we talk about something being the doorway to higher prices, doorway to lower prices, the danger zone, the boom boom room, whatever we talk about, guys, we talk about it for a reason. I don't know why that is on the chart all of a sudden. But when we look at this locally, I would say hold above this value area low at 24.20. Doorway to the POC golden pocket is open. Doorway to the value area high 786 is open if you can flip that POC. And I would say, yeah, 786 is your doorway to higher prices. Personally, for me, on Ethereum, flip that 786. You could push into that next larger target that we have between about 3,000 and 3,150 between the daily MPOC and that golden pocket resistance, right? And I will just mark this off as a zone on the chart. Bada boom, from the top of that golden pocket all the way down to that daily MPOC. Again, about 3,000 all the way up to about 3,150. That is the next major target for Ethereum. And you got to get above that 786. That's a very, very clear line in the sand. So if you do break up there, you would like to, I would like to see, hold that as support. Next target would be sitting up here. If you get another break to the downside, let's say you come into the golden pocket 786 and you put in a lower high for a potential lower low, you have the value area low of the macro range sitting at $2,100. We're pretty far away from that as of right now, but as you guys know, things develop pretty quickly here in crypto. So, if we do get a big dump to the downside for some reason, that $2,100 value area low is going to be the biggest key level of support. We lose that, we have the 786 daily MPOC sitting at about 1950. Between 1975 and 1940, right? So that would be like the next big level if we lose the range. And then if we lose that, we could be on our way to 1700, but we'll approach that when we get there, right? Right now, we are not only within this local range, but we're also within our larger volume profile. And I know this looks a little bit confusing. I'm going to try to clean up this ETH chart before tomorrow's stream so it looks a little cleaner. But you have this local range up here, which obviously was respected very well, which could continue to get respected, but we're also within our larger volume profile. Value area low at 2,100. Point of control is sitting at, actually, POC sitting right here at about 2320. So, you're within this larger profile as well. As long as you can remain inside this range, you could potentially look for this to fill in full. Stay above the POC, right? Even if you lose that local value area low, that point of control at 2320 is going to be key, right? You might come down, higher low for the higher high in the breaker structure to the upside. So, yeah, and then looking at your market cipher B, right? 16-hour red dot is also looking to print here, very similar to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's obviously printing it. ETH is following slowly behind. But, money flow is crossing into the green. We'll see how this develops over the week. Is it going to be a fake out? Are we going to come up into a big green wave? We'll have to see what happens. Taking a look at the 2-day. 2-day money flow now back in the green for Ethereum as well, which, as you guys know, is typically a pretty good sign for the altcoins, right? We come into the green, fake out, back into the red, but we are putting in a higher high here on our money flow. So hopefully we can see Ethereum get a move here with that 2-day money flow. It could continue into the green and give us a big move up through the profile. That would be best case scenario. Every time we get these 2-day money flow crossovers, you had one back here where obviously you did come down right after, but you did get that pretty nice move to the upside to the tune of about, what is this? 36%. But again, this crossover happened towards the top of the profile, which would have been kind of the final target. But now we're a lot lower within this profile, which means that final target is much further away, right? If that 2-day money flow crossover gives us a move into the value area high, it could be pushing up close to a 50% pump and potentially further if everything lines up and we see the altcoins run like we want to. Hopefully rate cuts can come in and we can see that finally happen. And you can see here last 2-day money flow crossover. This was a little more similar to what we're seeing now. Money flow crosses over into the green as you're kind of hanging out around here, and then eventually you do get that full fill of the profile before deviating and then coming back in. So we'll see. We'll watch that 2-day money flow crossover, and then locally you have all these little scalp levels as well to watch. So yeah, and for the most part, right, a lot of the times when you have money flow coming out, I would say be very careful around the golden pocket and the 786 for a potential lower high and lower low scenario to break structure to the downside. But with the 16-hour money flow coming up and the 2-day money flow coming up, at that point, right, you could be looking for higher lows and higher highs. So I would say, could you put in a lower high and a lower low? Sure. But with the way money flow looks right now, I would say I'm cautiously optimistic to potentially just kind of scoot out of here at some point, right? Even if you have to pull back first, eventually, as long as this money flow stays in the green, the overall anticipation would be for the continuation of the uptrend. And before we move into the other altcoins, guys, I do also just want to bring up a lot of the things that I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, which was not just the fact that, the reason I am bullish, right, is not just because of the Bitcoin chart. It is also because of what we looked at last week. We saw the NQ make new all-time highs. We saw the SPY creeping up towards this high, looking to put in a new all-time high. I believe it did on Friday. Yeah, we saw it put in the new all-time high on Friday, and we have continued up a little bit. So you have the SPY making all-time highs. You have the NQ making all-time highs. And then we also took a look at Coinbase, which obviously has gotten the early pop to the upside upside here. Very, very similar. You know, if we're looking at Bitcoin, right, you have that kind of like bull flag, right? The breakout, the retest, and then the send to the upside. And kind of what I did on Friday was, let me hide the TA here really, really quickly. Take off the daily MPOCs, take off 100K. Boom, boom, right? If we overlay Coinbase onto Bitcoin here, right? We did this not even last week. We did this a bunch of times recently. You could see, right? Like we were kind of in this little consolidation, right? You have the lower highs coming in, and then once you break that trend line, boop, into highs, right? And it could be very, very similar to what we're seeing here on Coin right now. Let me actually pin this to a new scale. Where we at? Bada boom. So, yeah, you can see this obviously tracks very, very closely. I mean, no surprise there, right? But, oh, my God, I hope I'm not getting sick. This would be such a bad time to get sick, especially if we start breaking out. Yeah, you can see here, right, like just very, very similar. Is Coinbase front running? Is Bitcoin about to get that same move up? Even if we pull back a little bit, it could be the case, guys. It could be the case. You have those lower highs, potential break of that trend line. That's why I say that trend line is very, very important to watch, right? It's a very, very similar situation here. Come on, Bitcoin, catch up. You could do it. I think it can. And then also, don't forget, June 30th here, right? Let's pull up that monthly time frame on the Heikinashi candles. You have that monthly green dot going to confirm in about an hour and 32 minutes with the 2-day money flow crossover into the green. That is the signal that we talk about almost every single live stream that caused next leg up in the bull market. 2-day money flow crossover. Monthly green dot was popping in right there as well. 2-day money flow crossover. Green dot on the monthly was popping up there as well. And now here we are, 2-day money flow crossover and that monthly green dot popping up as well. Are we going to get that next leg up? I do think it is possible, guys. And again, it doesn't have to happen just like this. Even if we get a little bit of a pullback, it could still be right around the corner. So hopefully, does that guarantee we're going to go into new all-time highs? No. We could see that get stepped on and we get a massive dump. But there are a lot of things pointing in the right direction right now, in my own personal opinion, right? We get some kind of like surprise rate cut in July. That could be something that sends us up, right? I mean, obviously, we would have already anticipated that based off the charts. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news every single time. But, you know, we could just be right on the cusp here. And even if you had to wait till September for the rate cuts, guys, you know, not only would that likely send Bitcoin into new all-time high, but, you know, that's where you're probably going to see, again, from a cyclical point of view, right? Bitcoin goes into its kind of like final run, right? The final fireworks, maybe July 4th. Oh, my God, it's all a simulation. But you know, if we did get those new all-time highs sooner than later, I did not even mean to draw that to 137K, which is a huge target to the upside. But if we did get that push up, guys, just don't forget, I like to keep the Mafia as protected as I can, right? Everyone is going to be calling for $500K, $1 million, golden bull run, never going back down. Just understand that from a cyclical standpoint, is this cycle different? Yes. You know, every cycle is a little bit different, but just understand when this happens, it is typically the final move, not the bull run just getting started. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying you can't go above 137K, but, you know, everyone wanted 100K, right? Everybody wanted 5K, 10K, 2K, whatever it was, right? Hogs make money. I mean, pigs make money, hogs get slaughtered, right? We never made it to 100K. We never made it to 8K, right? The bears and the bulls, the greedy bears and the greedy bulls always get wrecked, right? We have had a massive move to the upside here. You know, if we get to 137K, 784% is pretty nice, right? So just be ready for that, because when it gets exciting, it's going to feel like it's just starting, but that is usually not the case, right? Especially if you see the altcoin, if alt season starts, this is oftentimes the finale, right? Plenty of room to make money, right? It could be the beginning of alt season, right? The beginning of that opportunity. But just remember, it's usually that last hurrah before the final comes in. And hopefully, you know, maybe we see everything completely change now. No more bear markets, right? Is that possible? Yes. But likely, I would say no. So there you go. So very bullish, right? Just got to be cautious of where we are in the cycle. Oh, there we go. Shout out to Chemistry Bro. Thank you for the alt list. I appreciate you, bro. We got Soul Hype and Arrow. We took a look at Ethereum. Let me replace that pinned message real quick. All right, so there we go. 220K. I said it. Shout out to Optimus. I mean, listen. Is 200K and above possible? Absolutely, right? It's definitely possible. It's really going to depend on what we see happen, right? At these next key levels of resistance, right, all we can do is pull up the targets, right, which obviously we came up into target number 1 for the bull market. I show this all the time on the channel. This was target number 1. We came up to the top of that zone. We got the correction, back up, right? This is kind of the first place that we got the major stall out after a major all-time high. Sure, we put in an all-time high here, but this was our target number 1. Target zone number 2 for me is going to be sitting between 137 and 156K. $120,000 even is going to be a nice psychological level to look at as well, and that sits right about here, right? So you would watch that, right? We break above that. You're looking to come into this zone. If it looks like the top is coming in between 137 and 157K, I am not just going to hold my spot bags praying that we come up to the 200 plus, right? Is there a target at 209K? Yes. Does it mean you're guaranteed to hit it? Absolutely not. Now, if we get up here and it looks really good for a continuation, very likely, right, there will be something on the chart to look at, right? There will be something that will tell us that, hey, might not be the top. We're going to continue up, and then we can look up towards those next targets. But if I see that things are looking toppy up here, just remember, usually the ones that have the more conservative targets are the ones that are right. Doesn't mean they're not going to be wrong this time, right? But for me, I'm not going to say 137K is the top, right? I have to see what price action looks like up here. If it looks super bullish, I'm going to be looking up to that next target. If it looks super bearish, probably going to have to come up here and say a lot of things that people don't want to hear. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? And then obviously you will have targets above that. I mean, and also, like, who knows, right? Maybe you get like a Lambo candle, you shoot right through the level, right? And that point, it's like, all right, well, maybe we get the rejection here and we can look up higher, right? It's going to depend on what happens, right? But for me personally, 120 to 136 to 137K is going to be the next big level to look at. Now, I'm not saying the top has to come in there, but it's not possible, right? So you just have to be careful of what we see up there. So yeah. We'll see. And then we also have, even recently, we've had some people come in and say that the top is in, right? No more new all-time high. They say that this looks very, very similar to 2021. It's an obvious top of the bull market. Could that be possible? Yes. I don't fall in that camp personally, but not impossible, right? But I don't see it that way, right? Just because we had the top come in like this in the previous cycle does not mean it's going to play out the same exact way. As a matter of fact, I would say that would, in my opinion, that would be like too obvious of an answer. So yeah, we'll see. Could it happen? Yeah. But I just don't fall in that camp. So we'll see what happens, right? I'm going to keep my sentiment here. We did not think this was the bear market. We held strong there, saw the new all-time high. I think we can do it, right? And just remember, if we do get a bigger pullback down to 97K, people are going to be like, what the heck? I thought we were bullish. And it's like, all right, well, keep an eye on the macro here, right? Like you can put in a low at 97, 94K, and then continue up, right? So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Come on, July rate cuts. Oh, God, that would be so beautiful, guys. Let's see here. Shout out to Capitalist Nomad, said, fundamentally, we are too bullish to see another double top, in my opinion. Yeah, shout out to Capitalist Nomad. I mean, I would agree with that as well, right? You got big institutions in. I would agree with that somewhat. But the one thing I would give a caution with that is typically at the top, things are very bullish, right? It's from a technical perspective, things might be obvious, but from a fundamental perspective, like almost every major top, I used to have a chart that labeled every event that happened at a major top, but almost every single top that has come in has been off some massive bullish news, right? So typically it gets very bullish at the top. It's not like everyone's like, oh my God, this thing's got to come down. Usually people are just like, all right, we made it to 69K. I guess 150K is next, right? Like everyone just gets super bullish at the top. And a lot of those people, right, are bullish from a fundamental perspective. But to me, the chart is the truth, right? All those bullish things that happen at the tops, they don't become bearish once price goes down. But oftentimes, it's very rare that it's like, oh my God, super bearish news, and then the top comes in. Usually it's like they try to funnel everybody in with the super bullish, news articles, whatever it is, right? Bitcoin's in the news. Oh my God, JP Morgan says it goes to 500K this cycle, right? And then you top out at 69K. So yeah, I would agree that we are definitely fundamentally insanely bullish. But just be careful with that because, typically at the top, when you are coming up here, when the top is coming in, guys, very likely it's not going to feel like the top is coming in, right? It's going to feel like it's never going to go back down, right? Down here, people were super scared, super bearish, right? I stuck true. That was going to be a higher low for a higher high. I could have been wrong, but we were right. But people were super scared down here, right? God, we're getting pretty close to, we have the July 4th dump down here as well. We'll see what happens on July 4th. But People get super bearish, people get super bearish. Those are both areas where you should be buying the dip, right? When the top comes in, like in this case back here, right? We get the top comes in, we get the pullback. Everybody is saying high or low. 30K is the bottom. We're never going below 30K again. High or low, we're going to 150K, right? And everyone's not bearish there, right? People are actually really bullish. So be very careful, right? The environment is going to feel unstoppable. It's going to be like, oh my God, everyone's bullish. We have to go up, right? But just understand that it's usually the opposite. When you should be buying, everyone thinks it's the bear market. Should be buying, everyone thinks it's the bear market. Oh my God, buy the dip. We're going to 500K. Typically a lower high for a bear market to potentially come in. Again, not saying it has to come in here, right? But that's the first major level I'll be looking at. And then hopefully it looks really good and we can go up to 200K. That'd be nice. And hopefully above. But I have a responsibility to only bring raw information on this channel. I wish I could just come up here and be like, it's going up forever, guys. Like the video. But I just can't do that, right? I feel a responsibility to protect the mafia. Make sure you guys actually make money and don't round trip your bags. All right, let's see. Yeah, shout out to Capitalist Nomad. That's fair, Frankie. Yeah, 100%. Because I agree, we are fundamentally super bullish, right? I mean, every cycle that goes by, it's like, Bitcoin's a scam. Bitcoin's a scam. Oh, you're trying to get people to buy. Oh, no, I heard it's a scam. And then they get in, they get dumped on. And like now it's like institutions are in. Fundamentally, Bitcoin is as bullish as it's ever been. So I would 100% agree with that. We'll see what happens. Hopefully this thing, I'm praying for it. I don't want anyone to think that I don't want this to go up, right? Like, I hope we get a golden bull run and it never comes back down. I hold a boatload of crypto here, guys. But again, you want to know when to sell, right? You don't want to hold round trip your bag. So we'll see what happens. Let's continue on here. Bada boom, bada bing. ZBCN, shout out to Norway. ZBCN, I will write that down as an honorable mention. ZBCN, bada boom. But let's go ahead and jump into the other altcoins. We got Solana on the list here. Let's go ahead and take a look. Bada boom. All right, so here we are, right? Obviously, actually, you know what? Let me pull up my face cam real quick here, guys. Let me just did my face cam come up? Okay, there it is. All right, let's see. Pulling up secret stuff here, guys. Top secret. Oh, come on, computer. Don't. Okay, there we go. All right. I was getting a little laggy there, so much better. All right, let's take a look here. So on Solana, or Solonzo, as some people would call it. My head is throbbing right now. Obviously, I do want to cover kind of how we got to where we are, because I think it's important, right? Because the next time you see a rotation of a volume profile, the more you see this stuff play out, the more likely you are to be like, well, hey, I trust the value area low because I see bullish confirmations. But at the end of the day here, guys, we got the full fill of the volume profile. Get above the low. POC is next. Flip the POC. Value area high is next. Deviation above that value area. High, right? This is the value area high. This is where you want to look for short positions, whether they are scalp shorts for a move down to bounce off the value area high and continue up, or if they are going to be a short, right? Either a short here or a short here, that eventually leads to an acceptance into the lower range to get your next high probability visit of the point of control. Lose the value area high, the next likely place for price to go is the POC. We tried to get the breakout, but we knew, based off money flow, etc., that a lower high and a lower low is more likely. Come back down. Once you lose the POC, you look to come into the value area low, where we had the golden pocket as well as a plethora of support down here. Could we have bounced off the POC for a massive move up? Sure, right? But I always prefer a move down to the value area low. This push into the value area low, deviation below, this is looked at as undervalued. This is an undervalued asset based off the relative price action. Once you get the reclaim of the value area low, POC is next. And then last week, Then last week, right, we had this golden pocket 786 pulled from the higher low to the higher high. We pull into that golden pocket on Thursday. Beautiful place to put in a higher low before putting in what? A higher high for a break of structure to the upside and a continuation of the uptrend, pushing us into the first key level of the golden pocket. This is what we looked at yesterday. Last week. Why do I always say yesterday? Last week, 158.84 to 160.55. That's your first target. Break above the golden pocket. You can then anticipate what you would already anticipate based off the volume profile, which is hold the low, go to the POC, flip the POC, go to the value area high. So you got to be careful. You have resistance here. You might get a little pullback. But overall, when you look at the higher time frames, such as the 16-hour money flow is crossing into the green. Sure, the VWAP is coming down. Sure, that could give you a pullback, right? But you were overall going to look for higher lows and higher highs based off your money flow. As long as that money flow stays in the green, that will indicate the overall trend. It will not call the little ebbs and flows to the downside and upside. These are green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot. But the money flow crossover indicates the overall trend, which hopefully can get you that fulfill the profile. So your next target here, target number 1 hit. Target number 2 is going to be the value area high 786, 167.92 down to about 166.65. Simply put, let's see if we can get that fulfill the profile. You might ask yourself, well, if we pull back, where can we look for another bounce? Well, the most obvious place would be the point of control, right? Point of control is the biggest key level within the profile, 142.88. Now, we could also look at our next Fibonacci retracement pulled from swing low to swing high, right? So you got a little bit of, you make that POC a little bit of a zone. Right? So you would hope that you could hold above this golden pocket, POC 786. I would say as long as you can hold this blue zone, the opportunity to continue up towards that value area high is open. Once you start losing that 786 POC, probably going for a deeper pullback, which might be into a larger golden pocket retracement. But for the most part, I would say you want to hold this zone right here. This is sitting between 145.89 and 141.91. That's your next key level of support. Just like the value area low was, and just like this golden pocket was, right? That was your zone to hold for a higher low and a higher high. I would say in that same manner, or in that same kind of thought theory, you would look to hold this zone right here. Simply put. And then you have the POC of the range, which is major, right? As long as you stay above the point of control, right? Doorway to the value area high stays open. So I'd be careful with some turbulence at that golden pocket. We've already pulled back a little bit, but overall, I would anticipate the continuation of that uptrend into the value area high. As long as that 16-hour money flow stays in the green. 12-hour money flow trying to cross over into the green as well, so be careful. Or not be careful, but keep an eye on that. So, yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby. Take a look at the 2-day. 2-day money flow also looking to cross over into the green, and must I do it again? 2-day money flow crossovers, typically very bullish for altcoins. 2-day money flow crossover. Oh, but we got to move down. Right. The money flow indicates the trend, not the ebbs and flows, right? You had a red dot on the 2-day. You would anticipate a pullback, but with that money flow in the green, you anticipate low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, indicating the trend will continue up. Doesn't mean you can't get those pullbacks, so be careful. But same thing, right? Like here, 2-day money flow crosses over into the green, wound up ending in about 118% pump to the upside. Back here, 2-day money flow crossover into the green, resulting in, to this high, about 891%, right? So is this going to be it? Come on, Solana. Come on. Not bad to see that 2-day money flow crossover. Remember, this is the simple signal to look at on a lot of the altcoins. Assuming that everything else lines up macro-wise, this is the signal to look for that bigger continuation up. And then I will say this, if you do get up to the value area high and you finally break out, just like back here, a flip of this value area low at 184, call it 183.91, this is your doorway to higher prices. Once you flip 183.91 to support. Next target is going to be the point of control sitting at 216. Flip this, go here. Going to be resistance until proven otherwise. But once you get in there, that's your next target. And then hopefully you could see a new high come in. That's assuming we get all season rate cuts, all that good stuff, right? So there you go. Shout out to All Set. Said, Frankie, always sharing the sauce. Keeps it 100. Let's go. Shout out to All Set. You will never get random BS FOMO by giant green candles from this channel, which is beautiful, right? It might not be, I do think there are some people out there that just want to hear it once it's going to go up. At the end of the day, people want to make money. They want to hear they're going to make money. They bought something. They're holding it. They want to hear it's going to go up, even if that's not the case. You're just never going to get that there. If I think it's going to go up, I'm going to say it's going to go up, right? More often than not, we are right about it. But if we think it's going to go down, we say it goes down. But again, if I were looking, you might say to yourself, well, hey, if we're coming into a golden pocket 786, isn't this, Frankie, where you say you could put in a lower high and a lower low? Yes. These levels are areas where you could put lower highs and lower lows in, but money flow helps you filter out how probable that situation is. If we were looking for lower highs and lower lows, we would want money flow coming out. Right now, it's crossing into the green, indicating the trend may continue up, right? So just give you my full thought process on there for Solana and many other coins that look very similar. So there you go. Let's take a quick look at Hype or Hyperliquid. Let's take a look at the KuCoin chart. Pretty hilarious. I've said this before. I was on Instagram Reels one day, and I saw that comedian that uses the auto-tune. You guys know who that guy is? His name's like Jay something. It's pretty hilarious. But he picked someone out in the crowd, and it was like such a literal like meme definition of like what a crypto bro looks like. And he went up to that guy and he goes, "Oh man, what do you do for a living?" He was like, "Oh, I'm into crypto." And he goes, "Oh, tell me what to buy." And the guy said Hyperliquid. And I'm not gonna lie, during that time, I opened up the chart and it was like literally this guy like randomly called out Hype like down here. Pretty crazy. He's like, "I'm buying this thing like crazy," which is wild because it was actually a pretty beautiful call. You never know. That's why you want to pay attention all the time, guys. You never know when you're gonna get that random sauce from some random guy in an audience. But anyway, taking a look here. Down to the value area low, flip the low, POC, value area high. Nice breakout of this range. You know, obviously we have now left that range. Next key level, this is not relevant. We can get this off because that is old. So right now, I take this off the chart. I'm going to go ahead and pull from the high all the way down to the low. So you are coming up to some resistance. This is your biggest level here. I would say right now, and I'm going to pull this up in a different context as well to make it a little bit more tangible. But I would say golden pocket 786. 786 coming in at about 42.68. This is your line in the sand. Get up above that 786, flip it to support, new all-time highs, in my opinion, right? New all-time highs? Yeah. That's your line in the sand. Break 42.68 decisively, right? You can be careful. You could wick, come back down, right? But once you're able to hold above that level, that is the invalidation of the lower high, and that makes it much more probable to see a new all-time high to come in. So this zone, you're hitting the golden pocket right now, which is, you know, you're slamming resistance right now, so be careful. This whole zone sits between about 42.74 and 40.15. And then I would also look at this from a volume profile perspective. You have this nice value area right here, and this will give you a little bit of a cleaner roadmap on what to expect next on price. Right, so you can pull this. You have your value area high. You have your POC, which is confluent with that golden pocket, and then you have the value area low. I would assume that 786 is probably confluent with the value area high. Right, so golden pocket POC, first major key level of resistance. Get above this. Obviously, if you flip the POC, you're going to be looking to go into the value area high. Once you flip the golden pocket, you're going to be looking to go to the 786. So these are definitely the biggest key levels to look at. There you go. So we'll see. Hold above that value area low. Look to continue through the profile. It would not be until I lost that value area low that I'd be looking back down towards that previous value area. Not too bad. Taking a look at the 2-day. 2-day money flow has been in the green for this thing for quite some time. Let's see, 16-hour money flow. So this looks very different than everything else. This money flow has just been in the green for what seems like forever. 3-day green dot printing, 4-day green dot printing, 5-day green dot about to print, and then you have no information on the weekly. So yeah, those are the key levels I would look at on Hype. Watch out for, you know, potential cool-offs. I would say key level number 1, 39.30 at the value area low. If you lose that, I would say this would be another key level of support. You would not want to break back below this value area high underneath you. So sitting between golden pocket at about 37.62. It wouldn't be the first level I look at, but I would say if you do get a bigger pullback for some reason, you know, that's the area you want to hold, right? You want to continue the higher lows, right? You do not want to break down below that 786. It makes it much more likely to go to the bottom of that range. So you could potentially come all the way back down to like, I would say like 36.80, right? And still be good for a higher low. Once you lose that, probably going down much lower. So you have a lot of room to come down, and this wouldn't even be the first level I would look at. I would actually probably start this fib. I would be looking at this fib, right? So locally, much more tangible here. Value area low to this local 786 between 39.34 and 38.66. So pull back from here, get the bounce, stay inside the range, flip the POC, go to the high. Once you lose that, you can look down towards the lower level I just brought up, but you can cross that bridge when you get there. So this is what I would look at on Hyper. There you go. Let's see. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Just make sure. Morgan J. That's what it is. Shout out to Iram. Yes, shout out to Morgan J. Watch his comedy, guys. You never know when you'll get an early call on hype. Let's see. I'm surprised I didn't recognize the guy. He looked like, crazy. But anyway, let me. Frankie, can you tell me the future? I will be extremely mad if it's not exactly what I want to hear. Shout out to Gig Longbottom. Funny enough, that is kind of the way it works sometimes. I'll just say this. If I put rocket ships and moons on every single thumbnail, we probably get slightly more views. I don't know how much more, but people would enjoy that more, right? They just want to hear it goes up. But here we don't care about what we want to happen, right? We care about making money, right? That's why we make money trading Bitcoin, shorting it, longing it, or altcoins too. We don't care about like what we want to hear, right? We just want to make money. If we think it's going down, we're just gonna make money on the way down, right? We are the money crypto channel. We are not the FOMO hype channel. We are the let's actually make some cake. Shout out to you, man. We got effing dollars in the chat. Thank you for the super chat, man. Said still new here. How do you use fixed range volume profiles from swing low to swing high? Can you show an example with Tesla daily and 1 hour when went short earlier? Shout out to effing dollars. I was going to say if you're new here, but you are new here, go to the beginner series on the channel and watch through all of those beginner videos. It will show you exactly how I use the volume profiles, not only to call big moves in the market, meaning like longer term targets, right? You might say, well, hey, if you fill this range and break out, you can look up here. Not only to find like high probability areas where price will go, like even here, if you get imbalance out of this range, price is going to seek out the previous area of fair value, which makes you say, hey, if you impulse out of here, you might be able to fill this range, right? So not only calling long-term moves, but also finding really, really nice sniper entries into shorter-term trades. But go watch the beginner series. I have everything we talk about here. I've detailed free tutorials showing you exactly how to use these tools. So definitely go check that out. If I could give you like a little 2-second, I do this like all the time, so I don't want to like beat the dead horse, but to give you like a little 2-second tutorial on how to pull volume profiles, it's not swing low to swing high. I just cover the ranges of sideways price action, right? So I see that we have, let's say you're looking at this, like the reason I would look at this range is like, well, hey, we have low, high, low, high, low, high, low, right? And then we put in a lower high and lose the range. I want to highlight with the volume profiles the balanced area of price, which is the range. So I would pull this from the start of the range to right before we break down out of the range, right? Which actually I have it pulled a little bit sooner, right? Right before you get the breakdown of that range. This is the balanced price action. Why am I not incorporating this price action? Why am I not incorporating this into the fib pull or the range pull? It's simply because this is imbalance, right? I only want the balanced areas of price, right? So that makes your value area. The range stops right here. And then if price reapproaches, you would look for a flip of that range to then eventually rotate through the entire profile once again up to the value area high. But go watch the tutorial video. I show everything in full. Yo, shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat and the 50 Frankie Candles membership. Golden is unstoppable. He's unstoppable. Golden, you're a maniac. You're a maniac in the best way. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for gifting those 550 Frankie Candles memberships. If you haven't already, start that golden waterfall, baby. Drop those golden emojis in the chat. And he says, check DMs after stream. Vroom, vroom. Shout out to Golden, man. He's about to be in an F1 car. I would say a Lambo, but I think Golden's above Lambos. He's just gonna be in a spaceship or an F1 car. Shout out to Golden, bro. I will check my DMs after the stream. Now I'm like, now I'm curious. Let's go. Shout out to Golden, bro. Thank you so much for those memberships, bro. This is crazy. I don't know if we're gonna have enough people in here to get another 50. So keep that in mind. I don't know what happens with those extra memberships. There's those golden emojis. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I can't believe Golden. You literally blow my mind, bro. What a golden goat. Shout out to Ken, bro. Let's get it. Sliding in your DM. Shout out to Dremmer. I'm gonna slide into Golden's DMs. Let's see. DMB Smurf said, what did I miss? I think like 2,500 memberships between Golden and Crypto Pollo. Other than that, Bitcoin's going to $1 million. I'm just kidding. Shout out to you, man. All right, let's continue on. I must have my gift receiving turned off, and I cannot figure out how to turn it on. I can't turn it back on for the life of me. Shout out to Big Huggies. I wish I could help you, but I don't know where to do that either. Maybe someone in the chat can help you. Let's see. Sean said he's a maniac. Let's go. Mark Dutch said Lambos are for one apiece. Oh yeah. So all right. Let's all right. Let's continue on here. All right. This dude's got to be printing crazy. Shout out to Spinner Trades. Yeah, Golden is I don't know. I think Golden I don't know. Golden somebody. Golden somebody. Golden is the man. That is who he is. Shout out to Mr. Wrong. All right, let's continue on here. Okay. Doge, please, Mr. Candle. Shout out to Boss Man. We can take a look at Doge. Let me just wrap up this list with Arrow, and then we'll jump into Dogecoin. And then I might try to scoot out of here early, guys, because I am dealing with a splitting headache right now, and I feel like my voice, I'm going to try to avoid getting sick. I'm going to, I don't know, drink bone broth. Does that help? I don't really know. But I'm going to try to rest up here because I've been feeling like garbage all day long, and I don't want to have to cancel streams, especially if Bitcoin's going to get cooking to the upside here. But let's take a look at Aerodrome here real quick. I mean, very, very can't make it up. Here's your deviation below the low, right? And this is all stuff that we looked at, right? This is not just us going into hindsight and just being like, look, daily bull div. Obviously, this was already here. I don't say this to brag or prove anything. I just like to show you guys exactly how the TA plays out. Deviation below the low. At the time, this is probably where we were looking at, I would guess, a daily bull div, lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, 16 and 12-hour bull divs as well. This is your undervalued price action. This is where you're looking for a flip of the value area low for a move into the POC, little rejection at the POC, get above there, looking to go to the value area high. You rejected the monthly MPOC. I would say here in general, guys, this does not look that bad. It just goes to show, if you're looking, right, when you look at this, from the higher low to the higher high, if you're looking for a higher low and a higher high, meaning breaking structure to the upside, where is that higher low likely to come in at? Between the golden pocket, which is confluent with the value area low, and that 786. This whole zone would be where you're looking for the long. Deviate below the low, that's where you look for longs. You have your bullish divergences. You flip the value area low to support. Money flow starts crossing into the green. You start your journey through that profile, filling it in full. The volume profile is the single most powerful trading tool you could possibly use. I will die on that hill. I'm not saying nothing else works. I'm not saying you can't make money doing something else. You totally can. But I just don't know of anything that can call moves like a volume profile. I really don't. But, we're in the resistance zone. You have value area high, monthly MPOC. You've chopped around this monthly MPOC for quite some time. I'm going to keep it on the chart for now. It's already tapped. I would say personally, let's take a look at some of these bigger levels. I mean, obviously, if you do get the breakout, right, you're going to be looking, again, how do we even know that price would come back down here, right? Well, it's if you lose this area of balance, this volume profile up here, if you start imbalancing out of here, where's price going to gravitate to? It's going to gravitate towards your previous area of value. You get back into the range, go to the POC, fill the range in full, then you get the deviation. Once you come back in, you're looking to fill the range in full once again. You go to from the low to the high, back to the low, you hold support, back to the high. So if you get accepted back into this range, you could say, well, hey, maybe you go back to the POC, maybe you go back down to the value area low. But right now, with the way things look, on this chart specifically, 16-hour money flow in the green, daily green dot, which money flow is coming out. I don't love that. But I will say this. This momentum wave looks like you could get a daily bearish divergence, right? If that daily green dot confirms, let's check the 90-minute. 90-minute money flow crossing into the green. Even the 90-minute looks like this. If you could get the daily to come up, right? If you get that daily green dot to give you a push up, higher high in your price action, you could get a daily bearish divergence here. I can never unsee these printing, right? If the momentum wave comes up, you might be able to print a bearish divergence, which would call for a break of structure to the upside. Will it push you all the way into that value area low? I'm less sure of that. Let's see if you have any daily MPOCs. You do have a daily MPOC right here, so I'll mark that out. That's just before the volume value area low. Daily MPOC there. Let's check the weekly. Yeah, you have a daily and a weekly. This is daily plus weekly. So, yeah, I mean, I would say your next real big key level of support, or resistance, rather, you have a daily level up here. Or is that tapped? I think that's tapped. No, that's not tapped. So you have a daily right here. You also have a daily right hither, right? So, you have two dailies above you. Once you flip, I'm sure this 786 is confluent with the upper daily, if I had to guess. Yeah. So, I mean, this is definitely this is your biggest level. Flip that 786 at 91 cents. I think that's your doorway, right? You get above that 786, you might be able to push up into that daily MPOC, in which case you might get the daily bearish divergence. Not a guarantee, but that's your doorway. Break above 91 cents, I think you take the high. Next key levels, daily, weekly MPOC, I'd be a big target about $1.06. Flip that to support, then you could approach the value area low POC zone. Once you get above that POC, again, I'm not saying it has to play out exactly like this, but once you get above that POC, you can look to go to the value area high. Because again, if you're going to impulse out of this range, price is going to seek out the previous area of fair value, which I would probably update here. So I actually, let me move this back. I'm actually going to update this a little bit. Value area high there. Value area low. And that is confluent with your daily. Yeah. So this actually looks, yeah, this is clean. Break above that 786, I'd look for the push into the value area low. And then be careful because you might form that daily bearish divergence. If you get it, right? That's if it happens. So level number 1, 786, 91 cents. Get above that, look to push up in here. And then once you flip that, you can look to potentially get accepted into this upper range. And we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But not looking too bad. Not looking too bad. I don't love that daily money flow, but 16-hour money flow in the green and coming up. 12-hour money flow in the green and coming up. 2-day, I mean, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but like this is what you want, right? 2-day green dot looking to print with the 2-day money flow crossover into the green. Remember, we just tested a bunch of those 2-day money flow crossovers into the green a few minutes ago. They typically do give you big moves up. So there you go. And we got that bounce right from that bull dip below the value area low for the full fill of the range. Couldn't ask for more. So there you go. Let's see. Bada boom. Let's see. Coinbase IPO was the last top. Shout out to AI Griff. It might have been. I gotta dig up the chart. I used to have a chart that had like every single significant top with like the news event. Like one was like back in the day there was like a MasterCard news and then like the CME futures. Almost every single one of them was like a major macro top in the market. So you just got to be careful on that bullish news. Dogecoin. Yeah, we'll take a look at Dogecoin. Shout out to Johnny said XRP. We actually already did take a look at XRP. If you scrub back, we did some full analysis on XRP, next targets, all that good stuff. Let's see. Shout out to Robert. Said, all I heard was new all-time high for Arrow guaranteed. Dang it, Robert. Dang it. But let's continue on here. Let's take a look at Dogecoin. Bada boom, bada bing. Where's it at? Am I tripping? I know Doge is on here somewhere. Am I blind? There it is. First on the list. Can't make it up. All right. So taking a look at Dogecoin. I mean, very, very similarly. Again, I think patience is key here, right? But 2-day money flow crossover into the green. We're still, money flow is technically trending up. It's all about direction on your money flow, right? Trend to the upside. That is technically looking okay. I mean, you're kind of just, got a little inversion there, but at the end of the day, right, if you just grab your trend line, you are trending up, right? So that is nice, right? You would just hope that trend continues. If it does come back out, maybe you get another little dip, but you just really want that to eventually skirt to the upside. So that's going to be the big thing to look at, right? Right now, you are playing with a very key level. You're playing with your macro value area low at about 16, 17 cents almost. Flip that to support. I mean, that's your doorway to higher prices. This is the level you have to reclaim. You're kind of, resistance. We're just, and you can see how that plays out, right? Like even here, before our last push up towards that point of control. Resistance. Tried to get back in, flip it to support, POC. But you could see, you get rejected, back down. So, it could be something more like that, right? Like this can happen below the value area. So, but at this point, right, like you're just hoping maybe you get another pullback, right? But you really just need to flip that level for the bigger move to the upside. Taking a look at the daily. Daily green dot confirmed VWAP, money flow in the red. This is kind of hard to call directional. I think we looked at Dogecoin on Friday. I said the same thing. It's like a little bit choppy. You just got to be patient here. That 2-day money flow is probably the thing to look for. Now, whether you get a little bit more of a pullback or not, that's one thing. But eventually, once you flip that value area low, that's where you're going to be looking for the bigger move to the upside. And this is also a macro 786. which ideally, right, you would like, I'll tell you this. I'll give you something real specific to look for. I mean, we don't have a lot of time. We got 54 minutes to close that monthly candle above that 786. Let me just move this to a log chart. Yeah, hold that. This is a key zone, guys. This is a key zone. You got to get above that value area low again, 16 to 17 cents. If you can hold that, it opens up the doorway to higher prices. And then locally, you know, if you do get that bigger break to the upside, I would say, let me just hide that for now. Let me pull from the high to the low. Yeah, just like I would anticipate the golden pocket. I would either be looking to go for the golden pocket retracement if you get back in here, right? Before you get to the POC, you have the golden pocket retracement and the 786. Value area low is also key here, right? So if I wasn't looking at the Fibonacci levels and I was just looking at volume profiles, I would say, well, hey, if you get a bigger push to the upside, look for the value area low to come in, right? And those are confluent. So these would be like key levels to the upside. I'm not saying you have to come up here right now, but if you do get the bigger push to the upside, watch that value area low. And watch that value area high 786. These would be the two next major targets to the upside. Sure, you have local levels up in here that you could play around with, but got to be patient here. Got to be patient. 16-hour money flow, not quite crossing into the red just yet. So again, you know, I would just expect turbulence around here. If you want to continue up without making a new low locally here, I would say this is the level to hold. Golden pocket, 786. Lose that 786 at about 14.148. You know, you're already almost making a new low. But if you can't hold that to get back into the range, you're probably making a new low. In which case, you got some lower levels to look at. But until you break that, I would anticipate just some turbulence around here until hopefully reclaiming and getting the bigger move up. So there you go. Value area low sits at about 21 cents. Golden pocket value area low sits at about 21 cents. Value area high 786 sits at about 23 cents. So that's what I would look for. So I would be very careful of turbulence around here. We got some red dots printing. You're at key resistance, but eventually that's what you want to see happen. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Wick589 said, do y'all remember when Frankie's XRPTA was so on point? He made gains and appropriately exited on some fake XRP ETF news. What a baller. Yo, shout out to Wick. Man, I don't want to like completely expose myself as a complete and total nerd. I could probably find that Wick. I could probably find that trade. Where was it? Maybe I can't. Maybe I can't. I think it was here. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I do remember that Wick. I do remember that. It was like I was looking for an SFP. Just to like kind of break that down. Maybe it was this. I think it was this. Hold up. Yo, if someone can tell me if I'm right about this, November 23rd. I'm sorry, November 13th, 2023. That might have been it. But the basic thought there, shout out to Wick, was we were looking for short positions, right? And I was looking for an SFP of a Wick. Maybe it was this one, maybe it wasn't, right? But I was just waiting for that SFP. I did not get the confirmation, so I didn't take the trade. Price started coming down, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, price started ripping up and gave me the SFP because we had fake news, right? It was like super bullish news. And I was like, oh, there's the SFP. I took the short and everyone's like, oh my God, XRP just got bullish news. And then we dumped. And it just wound up like giving me that perfect setup. And just once again, why news is like almost completely irrelevant to me. I don't care what the news is. I really don't. Not even that I don't care. It just doesn't mean much, right? It's like the news could be bullish, the news could be bearish. If the chart is telling me one direction, more often than not, that is going to be correct. Let's see. Dutchy, your only fan. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Says, yup, Wick. That was in the pre-Jesse era. Shout out to Jesse. Is Jesse here today? I don't think I saw him. Shout out to Jesse. Is he here? I don't think Jesse's here today. But anyway, let's continue on here. Shout out to King. Said, shout out to Frankie. Keep it up. Love your energy. Shout out to King. Hey, thanks for being here, bro. I appreciate you. Let's see. That was like November-ish. Oh, shout out to Wick. Yup. Was that it? Wow, man. I guess I did expose myself as being a nerd. There you go, guys. If you didn't know. And I think it was a 5-minute. I was on the 5-minute chart. I think I was shooting a tutorial video. And I was, yeah, there it is. That was it. I was shooting a tutorial video, and I wanted to I just happened to be on the 5-minute chart on XRP, and it just started popping up. And I was like, what the heck? Got the SFP, got the rip back to the downside. It's like, did somebody fat finger the keyboard, put out fake news just to get my setup to pop up? Like, I don't know. Somebody explain that. I mean, it's like, again, I'm not saying that news doesn't move the price. I'm not saying all news is fake. I'm not saying it's all conspiracy theory, but I don't know, simulation, God, I don't know what to call it. It's definitely a weird thing. Definitely a weird thing. Yo, shout out to Messy Jesse said, the other Jesse is here. Let's go. Shout out to Messy Jesse. B Team Crypto in the chat. What is going on, B Team? Welcome in. What is the name of the money flow indicator? This is Market Cipher B. If you want to save 20%, you could use our link. I am not just a paid shield for Market Cipher. I've been using this since before I knew CryptoFace, but you can use that discount code or just use our link in the description down below to save some money. One of the best indicators. I've been using this for years, before I ever knew CryptoFace, before I ever was affiliated in any way, shape, or form. This is a huge part of my analysis. Tremor said, today we gather to honor Jesse. He was an honorable light police officer. You are missed. Shout out to Dremmer. Let's go. Shout out to Jesse. He doesn't even know we're talking about him. Shout out to Jesse. All right, let's continue on. Oh, thank you, Tony, for dropping that link in there for Market Cipher. But let's continue on. Somebody just asked for Doge. new stable coin on ETH. It's called Link. The stablest of all coins. Shout out to Link. All right, let's see. I'm late. Sui, same chart as all the other alts. Shout out to Robert. I'll pull up Sui real quick. Actually took a look at Sui with the premium Discord earlier today. Yeah, I mean, very similar, right? Like, obviously, all this price action looks very similar, right? Like, even on Bitcoin. I'll pull this up side to side just to show it. Obviously, all the altcoins are going to, like, pretty much move based off Bitcoin, right? But if I pull up Bitcoin real quick, not on a monthly time frame, pull up the 1 hour. You can see here, right? Like this price action is like pretty much identical, right? You come down, you put the low. You can see both my crosshairs here. You put in the low, you come up, you put in the higher low. Then you get the breakout, right? Same thing here. Low, higher low, breakout, right? So this fib, let me take this off now. This fib is pulled from the higher low to the higher high. This is what we looked for, we were looking at last week, right? Pull from the low to the high. If you want to put in a higher low and a higher high, meaning continue the uptrend, breaking structure to the upside, which you technically did do here, right? You want to hold the golden pocket 786 zone. You come down, you stick the golden pocket, you come up, you break structure to the upside. You get it, right? Absolutely beautiful. Now, you are now back below the value area high, so I would be a little bit careful there. Let's see, money flow on the 1 hour coming to the downside. Take a look at the 12 and 16-hour red dots are printing. So watch out. You could get a little bit more of a correction here if that 1 hour money flow crosses into the red. If you do get that. Key levels to hold, in my opinion, would probably be this fib retracement from the higher low to the higher high. Simply put, right? So I would just kind of move this. Whoops. I would just move this right here, right? So you would hope if you're going to put in a higher high, or a higher low before another higher high, you would hope to hold this golden pocket 786 and then break out again, breaking structure above this high. And then eventually targeting this value area low at $3.08. That's your big target. But we'll have to see what happens, right? This thing could just kind of range around. We don't know what's going to happen. But if you're looking for a higher low, that is the place to look at it for. If you lose that, the one thing I don't love about this is obviously if everything pumps, this will follow. But the one thing I don't love about this is obviously when we look at volume profiles, you want to approach from the low to flip it to support, go into the POC, and then the high. When you approach from the high, the overall anticipation is get stuck underneath the value area high, can't get back out, POC is the next likely stop. And you can see we barely front ran that POC. So that tracks, right? But we front ran the POC, so it's kind of hard, right? I would be much more confident of a bigger breakout here if we were coming in from the low. So you just have to be careful. If you pull back, watch that fib level from this low to the high. If not, you might just kind of play around. But at the end of the day, if you lose this 786, POC down here at about 226, value area low, daily MPOC sitting between 211 and 205. So we'll see what happens. I'll just give you that fib level one more time just so I can get the actual numbers. I don't know what the probability of holding this would be, but 269 down to about 263. So if you're just going to continue high, low, higher, low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, this would be the place to bounce off of. If you lose it, maybe you just kind of range out. Or if you lose that 786, you could be underrated the point of control. So we'll have to let that develop. You're at resistance. You have the 12 and 16-hour red dots. Watch that 1-hour money flow. If you're going to continue down, that 1-hour money flow crossover might be the thing to start the move. So there you go. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Pepe, shout out to Bilal. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Good to see you here. Let's take a look at Pepe. Haven't looked at Pepe in a while. But let's see here. Yeah, this is the. See this. Pull it from the low to the high. All right, so you're holding from this low to the high. You're holding the golden pocket. Let me pull it to the higher low. Yeah, so I would say next key level down below is going to be the point of control 786. You're holding the golden pocket as of right now. 16-hour red dot looking to print, 12-hour red dot looking to print. So, again, when you're approaching from the high, deviate above the high, get stuck back into the range, can't break out. Once you get accepted below that value area low, typically POC is next. Lose the POC, go to the value area low. That's when you're approaching from above. Just like when you approach from below, flip the value area low to support, go to the POC, flip the POC, go to the value area high. Full rotation to the high, full rotation to the low is what you would expect. So, if we could get some kind of a surprise shot to the upside, that would be nice. You can bounce off these levels. It is a golden pocket, and you do have the 786 red on the POC. But I would just be careful because when you deviate above these ranges, typically you get the full fill. Doesn't have to happen, but you didn't tap the POC. I don't like that. So a little harder on Pepe, to be quite honest. Take a look at the two-day money flow crossing over into the green. That's very nice. That would help you anticipate higher lows. Low, high, higher, low, higher, high. I would say you don't want to lose that 786. That would be your last level to bounce off of. If you do come down there, you could wick into the golden pocket and reclaim the 786. That would not look that bad, right? Continue the move to the upside. But right now you're holding the golden pocket. So your key level above would be the value area high. I would just look within this profile. And traditionally, your expectation would be to fill that in full. But with the way money flow looks, it's not impossible to bounce off the golden pocket or that 786 POC. So just be aware. Other than that, take a look at the daily. Red money flow in the red. 4-hour money flow crossing over into the green. Kind of wonky here on market side for B. A little bit choppy. 10-hour money flow coming out. 12-hour money flow coming up. So, yeah, I think you might have a little more chop to go around here. But those are definitely the key levels. Below 806 to 765. You lose that. Value area low would be the next level to look at about 703. So that's what I would look at. So, yeah. Honestly, not too much to talk about on Pepe, to be quite honest. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Billy in the chat. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Is that the real Billy? Shout out to Dutchy. Let's get it. Pengu. We can take a look at Pengu. AI Grip says calf. Show us the calf, baby. Show us the calf. All right, let's take a look at Pengu. Okay. When did we tap this? Okay. So when you look at Pengu, right? Still have this large volume gap up here. Very large volume gap. Break above this level at 0.017. Fast fill into the value area low potentially. Fast move down oftentimes leads to fast move up. Did we fill the gap? I'm going to leave that there, right? Because we don't know yet. Are we going to fill this gap? Did we fill the gap? Let's see. But be aware of that gap sitting right there. This is sitting between about 0.017 all the way up to about 0.022. Monthly MPOC. Ooh. Hang on one sec here. All right, monthly POC has been broken. This would be a key level to flip to support, which looks like it might want to do. Two tapped NPOCs, two tapped daily NPOCs. We came up, hit one of them, hit the second one before the big cool off. This MPOC at 0.014 is huge to hold that support. If you get to hold this as support, you might be able to crack through this lower low volume gap. So let's see. You don't really have much to go here, right? You got another 19%. If you could hold above the monthly at 0.0139, 0.014 almost, hold above here, this is the next big level. Break above this, you could see a fast fill of that low volume gap, starting at 0.017. And this is also not, in my opinion, right, when you look at this, from the low to the high, you're bouncing right off the golden pocket, right? This is what you would look at for an area to put in a higher low before putting in a higher high, breaking structure to the upside. And then that low volume gap could assist you on that move up. Doesn't look that bad. 2-day money flow starting to cross over into the green as well, right? Again, indicating the trend will continue to the upside. Doesn't mean that you can't get pullbacks. But I would say once you hold above that monthly, breaking that low volume gap, you might be able to get that bigger move up. Take a look at the 16 and 12 hour red dots printing. So again, very similar to a lot of other stuff. Could give you the cool off if that 1 hour money flow crosses into the red, which is still pretty thick in the green here. So just watch for that money flow crossover into the red. If you get it in the next 37 minutes, which doesn't honestly look very likely. But if you did get it, that 1 hour money flow crossover could continue you down. Doesn't look likely to happen on that 16 hour red dot though, to be honest. So yeah, I would say hold this. You don't have much higher to go before cracking into that low volume gap at 0.017. Get above that. And again, just the fact that you're bouncing off that golden pocket, right? Like back in the day, before we came up to this level, right? What would you be saying to yourself? You'd be like, all right, well, we have a high here. Get rid of that local, and get rid of these tapped weekly MPOCs as well. What would we be saying to ourselves, right? Well, you would say, hey, if we want to continue up here, we got a big move down. How far can we correct before things start to look ugly, right? Well, the place where you would be looking in a bullish manner for a higher low and a higher high to come would be pulled from the low all the way to the high. Golden pocket, you lose the golden pocket, you could look down towards the 786. Lose the 786, then you're looking for a new low, right? But you could either put in the higher low here or here. And it does look nice with the way 2-day money flow looks right now, that this was the area that you get that higher low in at, right? Golden pocket. Not too shabby. So we'll see what happens. Flipping that monthly. And I would say if you're going to break down, right, if you're going to put in a lower high and continue the overall downtrend, that monthly MPOC was not only an MPOC, it was also, you're at decision time right now. Right? Because if you're gonna reject here and continue down, this would be the area to do it at. You got that perfect rejection off the 786. So if you could hold above this monthly, crack that 786, might get the big move up. So just be careful. You're at resistance, but hopefully you could just continue the trend to the upside. That 2-day money flow crossover would say, even if you do get a bigger pullback here, you would hope for a higher low and a higher high. I don't know if this one's going to slant. I don't know if this one's going to slap like the previous one, but if you did get a bigger pullback, right, you would hope to hold that golden pocket 786, and then maybe you go for it. But key levels. Monthly, 0.014. Local retracement levels I would watch if you get a bigger pullback would be right here. Between 0.011 and 0.010. Could even look at this as a volume profile now, right? Because you have a sideways range. And that would be beautiful, right into the value area low. Not too bad. But the 2-day money flow, even the 16 and 12-hour money flow, if you can keep that in the green, maybe you get an early breakout here through that low volume gap. Watch that low volume gap. We'll see what happens. We'll check on it. Just know, if we make it eventually to that value area low at 2 cents, 2.5 cents, just know that however we get up there, however long it takes, that move through the low volume gap is probably going to look like a Lambo candle. Just like on the way down, it was essentially a just massive red candle, right? Watch that low volume gap. But there you go. That's what I would look at. Hype to 35.34. Shout out to Messy Jesse. We actually did. Actually, I think Messy Jesse, I think you were here when we looked at Hype. Could it make it to $35? Let's see if we have any targets up there. I can't guarantee you just because there's a target there we can go there. Down to $35. I would say not the first level I would look at, but For sure could. Because I think we actually just looked at a level there. All right, so we put the boom. So I would pull it from here to here. 36. I'd be more keen to look at 36 because you have confluence on the value area high. But you wouldn't have to wick down very far to hit that $35 zone. Pull it from the higher low. Yeah, I mean, you also have the POC would be a big level to look at as well. That's about $35. So not only is it a 786, but also a POC. Locally, I would watch this. Getting that continued pullback off the golden pocket, as we looked at. First local key level, break down below here. I would look at the golden pocket 786 value area high. If you break down below there, I'm probably more inclined to look towards that point of control, which is at about $35. So zone number 1, if you don't get the bounce there, I'd be looking at zone number 2. If you get accepted into the range, next likely place for price to go would be indeed $35. So yeah, potentially. But you have to break down below that value area high and not put in a higher low here, right? One of the criteria that you would have to meet is losing the 786 and getting accepted below that value area high. In that case, it'd be very high probability of $35. If you put the higher low in here, right, probably not seeing $35. So there you go. Does make sense, though. $35, definitely a key level. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Shout out to Angelic Ambition said, "Hey Frankie, just tuning in. Can you give me a Chat GPT rundown of what you've gone over today?" Shout out to Angelic Ambition. Today, Frankie Candles took a look at Bitcoin, XRP, Arrow, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Hyperliquid. Shout out to Angelic Ambitions. I would say, as we wrap up here, guys, I will just jump back to Bitcoin real quick. Watching D12, and shout out to Angelic Ambition. This will be a quick little recap for you. Got to be careful. Not careful. I don't know why I said that. Taking a look at the Bitcoin chart here. Let me pull up the actual TA. Right, we're just still within our profile here. Watching for the 16 and 12 hour red dots to confirm. We have about 31 minutes for those to confirm. If we get them to confirm, we're watching that 1 hour money flow crossover into the red. You know, because of this, we could get the bigger pullback. Key levels of support sitting again around 105,000. Below 105,000, we're looking down towards the 102 to 101.5 level. Lose 101,500 or more likely or more. Real line in the sand technically would be 100,500. But once we start losing this value area low, that's where we look for the bigger move down. But if we get a continuation down off that 1 hour money flow crossover into the red, I'm looking for potential bounces at the value area high, which is also the anchored VWAP, confluent with the anchored VWAP from the low of the downtrend. And then if we lose that POC, I will be looking down towards the golden pocket 786 value area low, where we also have 2 daily NPOCs. All right, so huge level. If we don't get the bounce here, you really want the bounce somewhere in this zone, right? We don't know exactly where it's going to come in, right? But somewhere in this zone, you would want to get the bounce. Once you start losing this range, that's where 97K becomes back in the cards. But right now, I would say, with the way things look right now, biggest key levels of support down below, POC, value area low, golden pocket 786 daily MPOC. I know I said that really fast. To the upside, 786 daily MPOC between 109.5. We pull the actual 786 real quick. Whoops. 786 starting at 109,000 all the way up to the daily NPOC at 109.5. So there is your little recap. If you're just tuning in, go back to the beginning of the stream to get more details. But we're at resistance here. We had a short setup from here last week. We'll see if that plays out. If it does, 105,000, lose that. Back down to the bigger zone. If we get the push up first, this is the first major level of resistance. And don't forget about our major trend line, right? Flip the 786, flip the trend line, opens up the doors to all-time highs, in my own personal opinion. So, no way. Yo, Golden with another 50. Frankie Candles membership. Golden! Golden, why? Mrs. Candles is like, what the heck is going on? Shout out to Golden for getting another 50 Frankie Candles memberships. What a way to wrap. Dude, bro, Golden, how? Unbelievable. Shout out to Golden. Thank you so much. Drop those golden emojis in on your way out, guys. Show Golden some love and maybe stick around. Try to get a membership because I think there are still trying to give them away here. I don't think everyone got given away on that last drop of the memberships. You get one. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's go. And you too. And shout out to Rollins. Thank you for the super chat. He says, can you look at Blaze It? Won't stop running. I'll do one last little quick check-in. Okay, everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. What just happened? Okay, let's take a look at Blaze. 420 Blaze It, bro. Let's see. Oh, man, this is going to be hard to look at, I would think. I cannot. I might not be able to get a chart on this, to be quite honest. Dang. Shout out to Rollins 420, bro. Dang. I wish I could get a chart on this. If I could get a chart on this, I would look at it. But unfortunately, I don't see one. Is this it? This is a little suspicious. Hard to say. Hard to say. Dang. Well, if we have time tomorrow, I will try to find a Blaze chart, and I'll try to bring it up tomorrow. I don't know if this is the right chart or not. But thank you for the super chat, bro. You don't have to super chat tomorrow. I'll try to find it tomorrow if I can remember, and we'll just try to take a look at it. But shout out to Golden. For the love of Golden, for some stinking reason, I don't have the option to accept membership gifts. I've looked at support articles, but no luck. So weird. Shout out to Web Crusader. Interesting. I don't know why. I got to look into that, too, because, I can't even get a membership. Everybody gets memberships. I'll never have a membership. But shout out to Golden. Shout out to Rollins 420. I'm sorry about that Blazes chart. Maybe this is it. If this is it, let me know in the chat, and maybe I'll take a look at it on the fake out. But shout out to Golden. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Shout out to Rollins 420. Thank you for the super chats, and shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us and doing, was this, it was dang near, yeah, this was too full. I tried to end early and get some rest as my head is just going like in my head. But thank you guys for being here. Time flies when you're having fun with the CandleMafia. But I will see you guys here tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Show of thanks to Crypto Pollo and Golden for gifting those memberships. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Bitcoin to the moon. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
I don't know what kind of vitamins these are, but I've just taken a bunch of them. This one is vitamin D. I took like 2 of these and like 6 of these. This is melatonin. Melatonin. I don't know. It's melatonin, whatever that is. I took like 4, maybe 6 of these. But anyway, hopefully this makes me feel better, guys. That's all the time I got for today's live stream. Hopefully I see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully I got these right. So it's supposed to make you happy. Oh, wait a second. Oh. I ate the wrong. Okay. All right. Well, I'm probably going to go sleep for 17 hours, guys. But thank you for being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the